Okay, so kids, once we're going to be shooting these weapons, these are real weapons. All right, they're going to be kicking out brass casings. Okay, every event we do, the kids usually come up after the event and get those casings, and they keep them as a little souvenir, and that's a nice thing. We don't have a problem with that at all. I only ask you to do one thing, and I'm going to stay on top of you on this one, kids. Is do not come up until we're all done with the presentation, and then I'll say, kids, come on up, get these casings. They're hot when they come out of the gun. They're very hot, guys. They'll burn your fingers, okay? And almost every time one of you little guys sees them, and you say, I gotta have that shiny brass casing, and he gets it, or she gets it, and it burns the fingers, and we just don't want to have that happen. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we're all done, and you come on up and help yourselves to them, okay? And we'll try to make sure everyone gets at least one. How's that sound? All right. The big kid can have one too. Yeah, he'll make you a necklace out of it. Right? There you go.
Kids, you want to get up front?
Folks, like I said before, the weapons we're going to be shooting are all real weapons. Most of them are World War II era weapons. And what I mean by that is they were either made during the Second World War or they were made shortly after it. We only have one or two replica weapons, which are real weapons. They're just made after the fact because the real weapons are so hard to acquire, or the real weapons are so valuable you wouldn't want to shoot them anyway. Okay? So where I'm going with this is you're going to be loud and they're dangerous. We're going to be firing off at a safe direction away from you folks, but they are real weapons. So bear in mind, we'll yell out a warning before we shoot, fire in the hole, let you brace yourself for the loud report of the weapon itself. Okay?
Is it live ammo?
We're using blanks. The weapons have been modified so that they'll actually shoot the blanks. Now, it's a simple modification that in a couple seconds the soldier could change it right back to a real weapon. So it's not a permanent modification. The first weapon I want to show you is going to be the Remington 1903. I'm calling it the Remington 1903, but you're going to see it, you're going to notice it looks like a Springfield 1903. Well, that's because it's the same weapon. But it was manufactured in 1943 when Springfield was busy manufacturing the M1 Garand. So there was still a demand for this weapon, so Remington picked up the manufacturing process. This soldier, the captain here, is going to tell you a little bit about it, and then he's going to go ahead and show you how the weapon actually functions.
1903 is a bolt action rifle, meaning every time you want to cycle a new round up into the chamber to fire, you have to pull this bolt back and bring it back forward. It has a 5-round integral magazine that you just saw me load. Typically in combat, the soldier would take what's called a stripper clip, which is a little piece of metal that's got 5 rounds together on it. You'd place it right here and just push down, and it would automatically load the 5 rounds in. Like I said, every time I fire, you're going to see me have to work the bolt to rechamber another round.
Okay. Folks, this is an extremely loud weapon. It doesn't have a blank fire adapter at it, so it is loud. Also, we're shooting blanks out of these weapons. They don't always function perfectly. These weapons are not designed to shoot blanks, primarily designed to shoot real ammunition. Give you an example, the difference of the 30-06 round. That would be what would be considered a real 30-06 round. You see, it's very large. And this is an 8-round clip. These are the blanks. They're considerably smaller. They don't always feed properly in the weapons. So if there's a malfunction, just bear with us. Thank you. Fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. Fantastic. You can see this guy fired it through these. All right? He's able to get those off very quickly. All right? This is not known for its quick handling. It's really known, the weapon is known for its accuracy. But a trained soldier can still work that weapon very quickly and get 5 rounds downrange very quickly. Thank you, Captain.
Quick note on the 03, this was used by snipers up until the mid-Vietnam War.
Yeah. The U.S. government has a knack of keeping weapons around for a long time. Okay, next up we're going to go ahead and show you the M1 Garand. Yeah, Corporal, you can go ahead and handle this one. Like we spoke about before, This was the weapon that replaced the 1903 during World War II service. The Garand fired the same ammunition as the 1903, a 30-06 bullet. Very, very powerful bullet. The Garand had the 8-round magazine capacity, and it was semi-automatic. Now, you just saw the bolt action working, and you saw it takes a little time. The Garand doesn't have that issue. He's going to go ahead and load it for you. He's going to show you how a soldier would feed the magazine in there. The clip in. Locked and loaded. Watch your ears. Fire in the hole. All right, now, you folks, did you notice the difference there? Okay, it's a semi-automatic rifle, not fully automatic, but that's a lot of ammunition going downrange at an enemy soldier. So it really had an impact during the Second World War against the Germans, the Italians, and the Japanese, who were all primarily using bolt-action weapons. Who wants to see that one more time? Sure. All right. There you go. Everyone loves the Garand. It's such a great weapon. It is. Fire in the hole. Very nice. That's good. America. Yes, sir. There you go. All right. That's what I like that one. Let's go ahead and show them the BAR. Folks, what we saw was the 30-06 firing 1903, the 30-06 firing M1 Garand, and now we're going to show you the 30-06 firing Browning automatic rifle. Go ahead, Captain.
Well, guys, this shoots from a 20-round box magazine, but these things cost almost $1 a piece, so this is shooting from a 12-round box magazine. And if you ever see in the movies, you see the guys do this with their magazine, that is legit. That's to seat the rounds to make sure they're all seated and will feed properly. Let's hope it works.
Still done today.
Again, bear in mind one thing. Out of a 10-man squad, probably 8 of the soldiers would have been armed with a Garand, 1 of the soldiers with a BAR, and then maybe the sergeant or lieutenant would have been armed with a carbine. But that's a lot of firepower in that 10-man unit.
The BAR man also was usually the smallest man in the squad. It was so he could carry the heavy weapon and everyone else carried some extra ammo for him.
Jamming in and get it. Thanks.
As Lieutenant Thomas was telling you guys earlier, the feeding problems on this are legendary.
Yeah, these weapons were designed for the full-length bullet, which is about another inch longer. So they don't necessarily feed well. We're almost there.
All right, guys, let's give it a try.
Fire in the hole. Don't touch those brass, they're hot.
Did I hit him, John?
That's okay. I didn't go down my shirt. That usually happens. Now, very good. Excellent. Captain, thank you very much. That was Browning automatic rifle. Folks, remember, 20-round magazine kicking out those 30-06 bullets. Fully automatic. Fire them as fast or slow as he wants to. That'll keep the enemy's heads down. And that allowed the U.S. soldiers to go ahead and reposition and do flanking maneuvers. And that's really what they did. Fire and maneuver, fire and maneuver. Next up, we're going to show you the Model 18, actually the M1 Carbine. We're going to drop it down a notch here. The carbine was brought into production to replace pistols for soldiers who were machine gun crew, truck drivers, tankers, officers, senior sergeants, and so forth. The carbine quickly became a frontline weapon because of its reliability and its accuracy. The paratrooper is going to go ahead and show you the paratrooper model carbine, M1 Carbine, fired from a 20-round box magazine. Great weapon. 15 rounds. My bad.
What I'll do is I'll fire the first couple of shots sort of slow so you get an idea of the noise, and then I'll fire a couple of really fast ones. Ready?
Got it.
Fire in the hole.
Safety.
Thank you all.
Very good. Excellent. Lighter weapon, very effective weapon, very maneuverable. Remember, the M1 Garand was over 9 pounds. This carbine was probably in the area of 5 to 6 pounds.
About 5.
Okay? And a soldier could carry the 15-round box magazine. He could carry as many of those on him as he could fit in his ammo bags, in his pouches. So it was a very popular weapon. Next up, the model 1897 Winchester trench shotgun. Folks, he's going to hold this rifle, this weapon up for you to take a look at. Take a look at this gun. To me, it was always a thing of beauty because it really goes back to its origins, which was the American West. And they ultimately took the weapon because it was such a reliable and heavy-duty weapon. They fitted it with this fairing, which was help dissipate the heat off the barrel because the weapon was designed to shoot a lot. It really wanted to deliver, the ultimate reason to have it was to unload a lot of ordnance on enemy soldiers as quickly as possible. So to dissipate that heat, they fit it with that fairing, and it did a lot of damage in World War I against the Germans, and it continued it with the Japanese and the Germans in World War II, especially the Japanese in the Pacific. Close quarter fighting, it was a classic weapon. He's going to fire 3 rounds, not the full 5, just to give you an idea of what it does. Fire in the hole. That'll get your attention.
That's huge.
Almost there, guys. Almost there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and show you the 1911 45 semi-automatic pistol.
Oh yeah.
Most soldiers would at some point acquire a sidearm. It's valuable to have. Your main weapon goes down. You can always convert over to that sidearm if you're in the middle of a firefight. In the case of pilots, tank crew, ships, so forth, that couldn't necessarily carry a rifle, they were almost always equipped with a pistol. This is a version of the 1911 45 semi-automatic pistol. Came into being in 1911 and is still used today by armed forces in the Mideast.
It was used continuously until 1985, until the military, in all their wisdom, decided they wanted to do something different. They went to the Beretta M9, which is a 9mm round, which is a lot less stopping power than what this one had. Much to the chagrin of a lot of the current military at that time and previous military. I understand now, I've read recently that they're thinking about going back to this one.
Special Forces has still used the 45.
Some of the Special Forces still use it.
Yeah, just to let you know, the Marine Corps has issued an order for 250,000 in 1911. So
See that?
Very good.
It's a winning design.
What I've got in here now is just, this is a little small round. This is nothing compared to what a 45, I don't have a 45 cartridge, but if you look at that, it looks like a dinner plate. It's got stopping power.
Big bullet, almost half an inch.
half an inch almost, yep.
Okay, fire in the hole.
Loud. That was not very loud.
Give you an idea, and some lucky kid is going to receive this 45 casing. Okay, that's about the size of it. It's a big bullet. It's a powerful bullet. It's a real man stopper. If I'm correct, one of the issues in the ultimate development of it was the problems that they were having in the Spanish-American War. The Philippines. Come on up here, Captain. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the 45, because they're talking a little bit. Some of you do have interesting pistols. That weapon was developed because of what?
Well, in the early part of the 20th century, we were in the Philippines after we had gotten the Philippines from Spain in the Spanish-American War, fighting an insurrection, and our standard issue was a 38 caliber pistol. And we were shooting, our troops were shooting the natives in the Philippines with the 38s, but they were able to keep moving and have those big bolo knives they like to use, were wreaking havoc on our troops. And so needed a more powerful pistol. And gee, I think I've said this name before, designed by a guy named John Browning. I take my hat and tip it to him every time. The 1911 pistol would shoot a bullet that is almost a half an inch across. They decided to start using that because this is the ultimate one shot, and whoever you hit, if it's in the hand, the chest, the leg, the earlobe, his day is over. It ends his day right there. And so John Browning's design found its way into the service. It was accepted for service in 1911, and it stayed in service until 1985, and because people are smart nowadays up at the top, it's coming back into service. Nothing wrong with a Beretta 9mm if you like a target shoot, but if they're serious about stopping your enemy coming at you, use the American-made 1911 45 caliber round. It will take care of the problems.
Thanks, Jeff. Next up, he had mentioned the 38 revolver round. Okay, that's a great round. That's a great gun, and it was carried quite a bit in the Second World War by any soldier that could get a hold of one, as well as air crew, shipboard personnel. personnel, tank crew, any one of them can get a hold of it. The revolver is a very good design, and it's very reliable. Some people aren't necessarily secure with the semi-automatics, and they'll always stick with a revolver. In this case, what we have is a Smith Wesson Victory 38 Special Revolver, World War II issue. Carried a 6-round, 6 rounds? Okay, 6-round magazine, 38 Special. Go ahead. One of the things, one of the things I didn't get a chance inside to point out when we looked at the other uniforms is this would have been your typical U.S. infantry soldier's uniform from 1941, actually all the way up to 1945. At late war, they had some other uniforms came into play, but it was not uncommon to see this uniform on a soldier when the Germans surrendered. What he's wearing is the wool pants, the M1938 leggings, the rough-out boots, M1941 jacket, and the M1 steel helmet with a net. On his web gear here, turn around. We've got the M1936 suspension set, M1930, everything's M. M1938 wire cutters, canteen and cup. Keep turning. Got the M1 Garand cartridge belt. Right here, probably one of the most important things he carries is a medical kit. It's got a bandage, some sulfa powder. If the soldier was hit, an assisting soldier, or he could do it himself, remove that, open it up, put the bandage on the wound so he can get a medic over to help him out. Thank you. Okay, folks, any questions? What's that? Oh, the pistol? Oh yeah, 38 revolver is a classic weapon. You can buy them today. They'll kill someone all day long. Great weapon. No questions? All right, you kids are good listeners. Come on up here and get these casings. And, guys,